All right, friends, welcome to day 17 of the December Daily 2025 for Tracie Fox Creative. I know I've been missing for a while. There have been a lot of issues in my life. You know, my daughter moved out, leaving my husband and I alone and sad. And I just felt that I needed to step away a little bit and spend some time with my husband because we are both kind of, I guess, grieving, you could say, not having my daughter around. And to be honest, I felt kind of bad for him. When my daughter was home, not working, or home, not visiting the boyfriend, he spent a lot of time with my daughter, and he was kind of lonely. So I've been spending a lot of time with him. I signed up for a Christmas card class. And as you know, I do like to do die cutting, and I do like to make cards because I've done it on my channel a few times, along with the journal making. And so I've been making cards. They're quick, they're easy, they occupy my time. They give me time to think. They give me time to feel comfortable at just being the two of us, well, and the dogs, as you can hear. So yeah, I've kind of been drowning my sorrows in making Christmas cards. I now have, oh my God, way too many cards. My girlfriend across the street wanted to sell stuff at a Christmas fair because we both enjoy sewing as well. But I didn't even get around to doing any of that. I've just been making cards. So I have been crafting. I've just not been making videos. I might do a couple of not Christmas cards. It's too late in the season for that. But, you know, I might do a couple of cards on my channel, do some die cutting stuff, and also do stuff with you guys that I enjoy. You know, I love Tim Holtz. So yeah, I'm going to slowly get back into making videos. I think I'm past my time of grieving. But yeah, so I am here for Tracie because I am still on her creative design team. She still has a bunch of us going and bringing in new people, as usual. So yeah, I am here to do day 17. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I love making tag books. I have made them in every way, shape, and form. My favorite, of course, is to do this, which is just a tag flip. And you can see that these are all of Tracie's tags that are in her kit. And so, yeah, I made a flip tag book, but I'm not going to show you how to do that this year because just go back to my other videos and you will find plenty of tag design books and all sorts of flippy flappy 3-tab, yeah, all sorts of things. But I, of course, had to make a tag book, okay? It's just my favorite thing to do. But now, this is the tag book we are going to make. All right, I'm just going to put that one aside. This is a tag book that was designed by, but inspired by Suzy at Shabby Soul. Now, you know that I have also made other tag books that she has made. And so I figured we would do one of these this year. I will link her video in the description box below my video. If I can't do that, I'll link her channel. She doesn't make a lot of videos. This was a Halloween tag book that she made using Tim Holtz Halloween stuff. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And so I figured we would make one today for Christmas for day number 17 on the December Daily. And I do have a confession to make. I made this tag book also using all of these tags. Now, the reason that I'm telling you this is because I want you to be aware that if you use too many tags, because this book can be endless, you can just keep adding in the little signatures, which is two of these tags together, that's a signature, and make one huge. What happens is, at least what happened with mine, now you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages here, okay? These were all part of this originally. What happened was it started to flop. It got too heavy for itself and it started falling to the side. I didn't like the way that looked. If you don't have a problem with having an overly huge tag book that might fall to the side, then by all means, make it as big as you want. My recommendation is just making it 1, 2, 3 signatures big, because then it will lay nicely on your table. I usually lay mine out to display for Christmas. And if you use all the tags in the kit, which is what is right here. Oh, just realized I got to ink that edge. You can make a bunch of these, or at least like 2. Yeah, 2. And if you want to reprint some of them, you could possibly make 3. They make cute little tabletop decorations, which is what I use mine for at Christmas. So yeah, let's get along and make this one, okay? I'm going to put this over here, which, let me just see. I don't know if you can actually still see it. Well, it's up there in the corner. That'll be good. Okay, what you're going to need for your tag book, you're going to need 8 tags, okay? And then you're also going to need 3 strips, okay? Now, I printed the full-size sheet. She has pages in the kit as well. I printed out a couple of those pages, and I made my little tabs with them, okay? I just sliced them up, and I made my little tabs. So now what you're going to need 3 strips that are 1 1/4 inch wide by 5 1/4 inches long, okay? You're going to need 1 strip, I got the hiccups, too much coffee, that is 1 3/4 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall. Now, the reason that I'm saying 5 1/4 inches is because that is the length, I'm grabbing my book again, that sits appropriately from this edge where the corner ends to the bottom of the tag, okay? I wanted my strips to be that way on my tag. If you want to do them a different length, then by all means go for it, okay? So we need 3 strips, 1 1/4 by 5 1/4, and we need 1 strip, 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. Now, what you're going to do is with your 3 strips, the 1 1/4 by 5 1/4, you're going to score each of these strips at 1/2 inch and at 3/4 inch. And you'll see why once we start putting our pages together. This one is going to be the binding, the cover for your little tag book. It's going to be this piece. You want it till you're going to lay it flat on the back of your book, and you're going to wrap over the edges, which you will also see, okay? So that's what you need as far as your strips of paper. What you're also going to need is a cover for your book. Now, I chose this as my cover because this is my day. I have tag number 13 for my day. Now, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense, but that's the tag that I have. Oh, am I day 13? I hope I'm not day 13. Hang on, guys. Let's get out our list. No, I am day 17. Okay, I got it right. I confused myself so bad. I am day 17. Okay. Now, why that made me think that I was going to have to use tag number 13, I don't know. I'm probably tag number 17. Now I'm completely confused. It was written out for us. This is my day. Okay? This is one of my covers, and this is my other cover, okay? So you want to keep these two tags aside, all right? Because you're going to put them on the front of your book or on the back of your book, okay? Those stay separate. Then what you're also going to need is you're going to need 1, 2, 3. Now I have mine separated. That's why it looks like it's wrong, or it looks strange. And you're going to need 4, 5, 6. You need 6 other tags. So you need 8 tags in total. 2 for your covers and 6 for your pages. Okay, now you're looking at these probably and saying, well, these don't look like Tracie's tags, because I've already decorated some of them. Okay, I would recommend that you do that, because once you have it together, you know, it still bends open, but I just found that I liked decorating before I put the tags together. You can, by all means, decorate after you put the tags together. The reason I decorated them first, Suzy had pre-decorated all of hers and then started putting her book together. So I was like, oh, you know what? She did it that way. I'll just do it that way. And it works out really well, okay? Now, to construct your book, you're going to take one of your 3 tabs, your strips of paper, and you're going to glue your tags to your strip of paper. So now I've already laid out my book the way that I want my pages to be, okay? The pages that I want next to each other. So that's why they look like this. They're all laid out separately. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. And I have just confused the heck out of myself, and I don't know why. I like to ink. You may not like to ink, but I like to ink. So now, once you have scored these scores are going to serve a purpose, because you're going to, it makes your laying out your tags a little bit easier. You're going to glue your tag up to the score lines, which keeps your pages even, okay? So what I'm going to do, I am going to grab my glue gun, and I am just going to, I can't believe that I confused myself like that. I don't know why I did that. Okay, well, I do have all of the different days tags in here. We are assigned a day and assigned a tag. And so, yeah, I don't know why I thought. I actually ran this morning and printed out more of my tags because I thought I didn't have the tag for my day. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to put some glue along the outer edge of your little strip here. And you're going to lay your tag down and you're going to put it up to the score line, okay? Now you can see my score line because I've inked them. So you're going to take your tag and you're going to push it up to that score line. And then what I like to do, just to make sure that the tag is in the right place on the little strip or the page divider, I take it and I just fold it over. And so by doing that, you know that your tags are even, okay? And then I just pull it back and make sure that it's got a nice fold in it so that my book will fold the way I want it to. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the tag that you want to be opposite your first tag and you're going to glue it on here, okay? So I'm going to put some glue along the edge of this one. And I'm going to put my tag in up to my score line, which, as I said, I've inked. So it makes it a little bit more obvious. And you make sure you're even. You want your bottom of your tag to line up with the bottom of your little strip here. Okay, I'm going to push down like so. And I am just going to fold this over and make sure that it's even on the crease, which it is. Now you can see I numbered my tags on the back, and this way I knew which one I wanted to go where. Okay, now you're going to do this for all of your tags. So I'm just going to grab my next 2 tags, and I'm going to grab my little strip of paper, and I'm going to fold it back up this way, and I'm going to fold it back up this way so that I can glue my 2 tags together. Okay. So I'm going to take it I'm going to put some glue along here, and I'm going to lay my tag down, and of course my glue gun is giving out. All right, I'm going to play with that in just a second. Let's just lay my tag down on the strip, making sure that the bottom of the tag lines up with the bottom of the strip. I'm going to push down like so, and I'm going to bend this over. Now you can see I have some pockets on these 2 pages. Now, I have altered my pockets, and by doing that, I made them so that they would fit nicely onto my tag. So what I do is, once I have my tag all set up, I take my pocket and I lay it down on top of my tag, and I measure from side to side, and I put a little mark on the pocket. And then when I score it, I score along that mark instead of scoring along the pre-designated marks. And this way I can shrink my pocket down, okay? I might show you how to do that. I have a couple of extra tags left and some extra pockets. Okay, now I have my second signature done. Okay, you can see we did it in exactly the same way. And this is my third and final signature and my third and final strip, just making sure I'm using the right one. Now you can see I didn't ink these edges on my little strips here, and that's because you don't really need to. You're not going to see it. Okay, all right, let's do this. And glue this one down up to that score mark, like so. And I'll push this. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to glue it on to the other side. And then we're going to start putting our book together. Okay, get that one. And I know I'm repeating myself, but make sure you line it up to the bottom so that everything sits evenly. Okay, now we're going to, I just want to make sure this is dry, as I don't need it falling apart. Okay, now what you're going to do is you are going to actually start gluing your book together. Let me just bend this over and make sure it's on there nice and tight. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to take our pages, which by now I've completely mixed up. And nope, these were supposed to go on the back. See, I have 6 and 8. And then I have 2 and 3. Okay, you're going to take whichever pages you want wherever, and you're going to lay them flat upside down, and you're going to, basically, you're going to be gluing them together. Now, this tag is going to get glued to this tag, so we are going to put glue all over this tag, like so. Put a little extra glue. I always over glue, but I'm going to advise you to put a little extra glue in case when you glue your tags together, you don't quite get them lined up perfectly. That little extra glue will give you some wiggle room, okay? So I'm going to take this tag, and I am now going to glue it to this page like so, okay? I'm going to line up my edges, all right? Make sure that they match, okay? I'm going to turn them over. I'm going to push down. Yeah, I know this is a weird angle for you, but I want to make sure that they're standing straight together. And then I'm going to open them up. I'm just going to push down a little bit, like so. Make sure they're glued together, although with the amount of glue I used, they better be. Okay, so now what you have is something that looks like this. Okay, you have the beginning of your tag book. Now, this one, I am going to glue to this tag, okay? Now you can see, just so you're not confused, This was my first page and my second page, my third page and my fourth page. And now on the back, I'm going to add my fifth page and my sixth page, okay? So I am going to take and open it up. Okay, once again, this is 1 and 2. This is 3, and we have 4 here. Now what you're going to do is you're going to glue these 2 pages together, just like we did with the other one. Okay, once again, I am going to put oodles of glue on, like so. So in case I miss the first time, I have enough glue to give me some wiggle room so that I can move my tag around should I need to. Okay? So now we're going to grab these 2 tags and I am going to line them up as well. Okay? I'm going to make sure that I have it lined up. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to check to see that my edges are meeting. Okay? Make sure, I'm going to stand it up. Make sure it stands up tall, like so. And I'm going to push them down. And there we have them all glued together. Okay? So now we have, what did I just do? See how easy it is to get confused? Now we have our first page, our second page, our third page and fourth page, our fifth page and our sixth page, and that is set. Okay? And there you have your little book ready to go. Now, I just realized that I wanted to make sure that I put my decorations close enough to the edge so that when I wrapped over my binding, I had enough room to wrap my binding and not go over the pieces I had decorated, but I did it backwards. This was supposed to be my cover. This was supposed to be my back. So, now, I have the option of covering up the decorations that are on this tag and covering up the decorations that are on this tag so they can be in the right places, or I can just put them on the opposite sides of where they were supposed to be. I elect to put them on the opposite sides of where they were supposed to be. Because you'll see, if I put this one here and I go to wrap my binding around, I'm covering up this edge of my tag. So I was trying to be sassy and decorate out towards the outer edge so that when I wrapped my binding, I didn't cover up my decorations, but I did it on the wrong sides of each tag. So this one is going to be the front of our book. Although, yeah, no, I'm going to leave it. Oh, if it's not one thing, it's another. Okay, so now what you do, you have your whole book made, but now you need to put on your front cover and your back cover. So this is going to be the tag that covers the front of my book, like so. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it to the back of my tag. That is my page 1. All right. Now, I do need to tell you what I have done with these tags is once I finished cutting them out, I wanted the paper to be a little bit thicker because I wanted my tag book to be kind of substantial. I cannot print in my printer on paper that is more than 80 pounds. It gets stuck. Okay, so in order to make my tag book a little bit heavier than it would be if I just was using 80-pound paper, after I cut my tags out, I glued them all to 110-pound cardstock, and then I cut around them again, just so that, like I said, my tag book would be a little bit heftier and a little bit thicker. You can possibly see that my tags are quite thick, okay? I like them this way. You may not like them this way. You may want yours to be a little bit floppier than mine is. So by all means, use whatever paper you like. But as I said, I wanted my tag book to be kind of substantial and hefty to keep it from number one, tearing, And number two, like giving it just a little bit of a body. Okay, so I've glued on my tag on the front of my book, and now I'm going to glue my tag on to the back of my book. Okay, and all you're really doing is basically the same thing you have been doing all along. It's just adding a nice amount of glue. Okay, it's important to make sure you have enough glue on the edges because you don't want the edges to peel up, because then you're ready for a torn book. But yeah, make sure that you have a nice amount of glue on the edges of your tags when you glue them together, so like I said, they don't tear apart. Okay, let me just line this one up. Okay, I'm lining up the sides, and I'm lining up the bottom, and lining up the top, and all of my edges are meeting. And so now I have my completed tag book. All right, there we go, just like so. Okay, but we don't want this to show. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to cover up our binding. And like I said, we have this one strip of paper that was 1 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches tall. We scored it at 1/2, and we scored it at 1 1/4 inches because that is just going to wrap perfectly around the edges of our little tag book and cover up all that white paper. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to glue. I'm going to make sure I have it facing in the right direction. We're going to put a little bit of glue. First, you know what? Let's put our glue. You're going to put glue onto the bindings, okay? Or the page separators, all right? I'm going to do it this way. I think it's the way I did the other one, so I'm going to show you just the way I did it. You're going to put glue all along your little edges of your little page strips. Okay, so I'm just putting a nice amount of glue all along those edges. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my exterior binding and I'm going to lay it down on top of all of those pieces. Okay, and I'm going to push up on the insides of my book along those little strips that we use to connect our tags. And this way I know that my binding is going to adhere nicely to the outer edge of the tag book. Okay, and I'm just going to push down. I'm going to make sure that it's even and that it's covering up all that little white that's on there. Okay, and it seems to be stuck down fairly well. Okay, now as I said before, I realized that I did not ink this edge, so I'm just going to grab my vintage photo and I'm just going to ink along this edge here so that the whole thing is inked. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to take and you're going to bend this back. All right, I'm going to just put it like this and make sure that this glue is adhering. I'm pushing down on my tags and making sure that each of those edges is adhering to my strip here. Okay, and that seems to be better than it was before. Now I'm going to put some glue along this strip here, which is the part that wraps around onto your front tag and your back tag. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap it around and push down onto my front cover. Okay, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to push down. I'm going to lay it down flat. And I'm just going to push on the inside to make sure that it's staying stuck. Okay. And that seems fairly good there. I'm just going to push down over here a little bit. Now, I was going to add some pom-poms, but I don't have my pom-pom trim. And I think we're going to do something a little bit different. Now, we're going to turn the book over onto the back, and we're going to do the same thing back here. We're going to add a decent amount of glue, okay, because we do want it to stay stuck together. And we're going to wrap around onto the back cover. And I'm going to push down like so. Okay. And push there. Now what I was thinking of doing was, in lieu of having pom-poms, I want to just look in my little basket of goodies. Okay. So there we have all of that. Now this is the little tag that I was going to put on the front here, like so, which was going to be the back of our cover. And so I think I might add that. Okay, let me see. Let me just glue this down. I think I'm going to stick it like this so that you can still see this pretty holly down here and part of this little pre-printed tab. And of course, the little Christmas tree in the background there. All right, let's just put some glue on the back. And we'll just add this little piece of ephemera right on the front here. Like so. So now we have our little special delivery. Okay? Now, what was I just going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. I just want to see if I have a piece of lace that might glue down nicely onto the binding of our book. Now I do have this little strip here, and I'm wondering how that would look. That might look kind of cute. Maybe we will add a little bit of lace on here, like so. Do I have enough to do both sides? I sure do. Okay, let's see. Let's just measure this. Okay, we are going to do that. Okay, I'm going to snip this off here, like so. Okay, not even measuring. This is how Joni measures. And I'm going to toss that in there. And again, I'm going to look and see. Yep, I think we can do that. And I am just going to trim this piece off over here so that we have a nice little edge on this side too. Okay. Now, you can see I'm not worrying about if it's straight or if it's crooked, because I like things to look kind of vintage. So if they are a little bit crooked, that's perfectly fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my Simon Says Stamp Positively Perfect craft glue. I bought this because, you know, like I said, I like to do a little bit of card making. I had seen this, one of the card makers who does cards for their company. I had seen her use it, and I said, all right, I'll give it a try. We all want to try a new glue here and there and make something affordable. This is just like Aileen's craft glue. It glues everything. So I tried, actually, that's what I used to glue my pom-poms into my other book. And it adhered perfectly. See how this is already stuck, okay? Now what I'm going to do, I don't want my little trim here to interfere with opening and closing my book. So I'm going to very loosely glue this down. In fact, I'm just going to put a little strip of glue right along here. And I am going to just lay the little lace trim. This is cotton lace trim. It's nothing spectacular. I got a bunch of it at Walmart years ago. So it's a cotton trim. It's not even real lace. Okay. Now you can see I'm going to do the same thing on the back here. I didn't have pom-poms ready for you guys, but I figured we could do something with a little bit of fabric. And then I am just going to do the same thing on the back. Put a little bit of that glue. I'm going to push down and just adhere it so that it doesn't interfere with us opening and closing our book. Okay, so we have a little bit of fabric trim here. Okay, and that's all done. Didn't have pom-poms, but I knew I could find something in my little scrap bucket here to use to bring some fabric into this little tag book. Okay, I am just going to put this out of the way here. All right. There we go. That works out cute. And then to fit into my little pockets, which as I said, I had to alter these to fit onto the tags. And in lieu of printing them a different size, I did adjust them. I took 2 of Tracie's tags and I cut those down as well so that they would fit into the now modified pockets. Because the pockets are smaller, I had to take my tags and make them a little bit smaller. So I cut them out along the edges, and I just added a little piece of ephemera to the front of each of the tags. It's these cute little photos that are in here. I glued them to my leftover paper. I remember I said I had printed the paper to make the strips for the page thingies. And I glued them to that, so they are substantial as well. I added a little bit of trim, punched a hole and added a little bit of trim. And now these guys are going to fit nicely into my little modified pockets here, okay? So now I will say that our little tag book here is done. I didn't stick anything in there to make sure that the pocket was perfectly done. I'm going to grab my little bone folder here. I'm just going to go down in here to the bottom. Okay. And I'm going to open up my pocket. Okay. Now my tag should fit in perfectly. And slide. Yep. There we go. And it slides all the way to the bottom. So there's our little Christmas tag book for day 17 for Tracie Fox's December Daily 2025. Now, I did say that I was going to show you how to modify these pockets, and I want to do so, but let me just see because I don't have any of the tags left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these tags in my tag flip book, and I'm going to lay it out, and I'm going to take one of the pockets that I had printed out, because I do have some stuff left over after I printed out stuff to make my tag books. Let me see, do I have another corner fold book? Corner fold? No, I don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these pockets, because it's going to show you, no matter what, how to do this, okay? I take my pocket and I try to center it onto my tag. And as you can see, these pockets are too wide for the tags without modifying their size. So what I do is I lay my pocket on, try to center it as well as I can onto my tag. And then I make a little pencil mark where I want my pocket to lay on my tag. So in this case, I want this pretty red stripe to show. So I'm making little marks on my pockets on the inside of those little edges so that you can still see my edge once I put my pocket on, okay? So that's all you do for that, okay? And then what you do, instead of folding along here, you can just score along those marks that you made, okay, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab my little score tool here. You can just score along those marks that you made with your pencil, okay. We have one on that side, and we have one on this side. Now, you may find that your score marks don't line up exactly, your pencil marks don't line up exactly with your scoreboard. It doesn't matter. Make them a little bit smaller. Don't make them a little bit bigger. So you can see here, my score mark is falling just to the left of my pencil mark. My score line went here. Here, my score line is laying just to the right of my pencil mark, because you don't want to make it bigger. It won't fit on your tag. Make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so now I've made a score line here. And I've made a score line here. I'm going to keep the height of my pocket the same. It's just the width that I'm changing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scoreboard and I'm going to score against the pre-printed line that's on the pocket. I'm not going to change that. Oh, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Hang on. Okay. Okay, so you have the score mark on the pre-printed line and you have the score marks that we made. Now, in order to make your pocket so it's going to fold for you, you're going to need to adjust your little edges here where your corner folds would be. So I'm going to take my scissor and I'm going to cut out that little edge there that is beyond where my new score marks were. See? You can see that I still have the little mark here and here. I've cut that off on this side. So I'm going to do it and I'm going to take it and I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. Okay, now in this case, I did not cut out the middle of the pocket, so let's just do that really quick. Not the middle, but where the opening would be, okay, or the top of your pocket. Okay, so now you can see I have score marks in the oddest place on my pockets, and we want to get rid of that extra paper, okay? Fortunately, we have the pre-printed edge. So we're going to cut along the pre-printed mark, the pre-printed line where we would normally fold our pocket. Excuse me. On both sides, okay? And we're going to cut off that excess paper, okay? So now we have a narrower pocket. We also, let me trim this. You don't want the part that folds behind your pocket to show in any way. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut from your little score line. You're going to snip off a corner here. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to do it in the opposite direction. And so now you have a modified pocket that is going to fit. Let me grab my tag book. I'm going to use this side because this one doesn't have a pocket. You have your modified pocket that is going to fit perfectly onto your page. Now, I should use the one I was going to use because I wanted to keep those lines showing. So now we have our modified little pocket to fit onto our tag. And then if you wanted to make a tag to fit into that, by all means, you're going to have to alter the sizes of your tags as well. But there you go. That's how you can modify the pockets that are already in the kit to fit on whatever you might want them to fit onto. So there you go, guys. There is my, let's get this out of the way, my day 17 for Tracie Fox Creative Love Junk Journals. My day 17 little flippy tag book, okay, that we just decided at the last minute to add some lace to. This was the first one I made with the little pom-poms. Didn't have that available on my desk, so we didn't add pom-poms. And then we have this one. You can see here, I modified my pocket and I made it so that it was a side fold by snipping it and cutting it and making it fit. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have gone ahead and watched everyone that came before me from the 1st to the 16th, and that you'll watch everybody now from the 18th until the 25th. I will link everything in the description box below, how you can get the kit, how you can get the calendar, and everything you could possibly need. I'm also going to at least link Suzy's channel, which again is Shabby Soul on YouTube. And yeah, that's it. So I am going to send you lots of love and big hugs and ask you please to remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I have been missing in action for over 2 months now, but I will be coming back, okay? Now that I've kind of got my head together and gotten used to my daughter not being here. Oh, and my husband has a new hobby. He is reassembling his HO car tracks from when he was a kid. He has built a table. He has modified the tracks. He's collecting his cars up. And yeah, so he has something that will occupy his time when I'm doing what I like. Okay, guys? So once again, like, subscribe, comment, love, hugs, and I will see you soon. Not right away, but I promise I will see you soon. And we're going to do a few different things. Okay, we'll continue on making journals and little tag books and boxes and all sorts of stuff. And also, I'm going to throw in some card making and some die cutting, maybe some coloring. Okay, guys, I'll see you then. Enjoy. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Take care for now. Bye-bye.